While working, a man named Nick noticed something strange. One of his co-workers kept staring at him relentlessly. At first, he brushed it off, but soon, the colleague walked toward him in a daze and suddenly attacked him without warning. Other co-workers rushed to intervene, but Nick still ended up with a nasty gash from a sharp notebook. Later, the attacker claimed to have no memory of the incident. Since they were colleagues, Nick chose not to report it to the police. However, things only grew weirder. One day, while eating at a diner, Nick noticed a homeless man across the street staring intently at him. Feeling the gaze, he glanced over only for the man's expression to go blank, just like his co-workers had. The homeless man began shuffling toward him with hollow eyes, and Nick bolted in panic. Seconds later, the man was hit by a speeding car. Shaken, Nick lost his appetite. The next day, it happened again. While biking, Nick briefly made eye contact with an elderly woman driving beside him. She smiled kindly at first, but when he looked back, her face had gone eerily vacant. A familiar dread gripped him, and he pedaled away just as her car lurched forward, chasing him. Nick barely escaped by ditching his bike and ducking aside before the car crushed it. Now convinced the problem lay with him, Nick pieced together the pattern. Every incident began with eye contact. To test his theory, he deliberately locked eyes with a man in the opposite apartment building. At first, the neighbor just waved cheerfully, but soon, his expression twisted, and he hurled an ashtray at Nick. Luckily, Nick dodged in time. Hiding, he watched as the man searched for the ashtray, clearly oblivious to his own violence. Nick was now certain, making eye contact triggered these attacks. He bought a weapon for self-defense, but avoiding glances proved harder than expected. Returning home, he accidentally met the gaze of children playing in the hallway. Instantly, they lunged at him like possessed demons. Though their punches were weak, they bit him viciously. When their parents arrived, it looked like Nick was assaulting them, forcing him to flee inside. Soon, angry neighbors gathered outside his door, but fearing more attacks, he refused to open it. Realizing he couldn't stay, Nick sneaked away at night and retreated to his late mother's isolated rural house. Surrounded by nothing but silence, he hoped to live out his days in peace, far from any wandering eyes.